Hey, it's JK with you here, and welcome back to RIMS Volume 2, where we're talking about email marketing, perhaps one of my favorite topics of all time. Now, after you've put together your welcome email, obviously that's just really the start of a long-term relationship that you're going to have with your subscriber. So in this video, what I want to do is break down for you a really simple 10-day email sequence that you could easily put together. You don't need to have an English degree. I want to give you a framework for putting together some of these emails, and I want to show you how it leads your subscribers naturally to make their own decision to want to buy your one product. Now, your follow-up sequence is something that you're going to tinker and tweak with over time until it's just right. So keep in mind, when you put this together the first time, it's just going to be your first draft. And as you start getting more traffic and more prospects and subscribers to go through this follow-up sequence, that's going to naturally lead you to make more changes and updates over time. So go through this video, get some ideas, see how simple it is to put together this really effective 10-day sequence. And this is going to set you up really, really nicely to go and make your way towards your first 100 sales. The welcome email is the first of many that your new prospects will receive from you as you work your way towards the sale of your one product. The welcome email starts evolving the relationship with your subscriber, and these follow-ups continue that evolution, dotted with little references to your one product along the way. The goal of these follow-ups is to have the prospect make their own decision to buy the product, rather than having it shoved down their throat until they either unsubscribe or make a purchase. That's repellent marketing. The focus of your follow-up should be to build on the interest and desire that your prospects have in themselves to go and achieve a certain goal. And you should always focus on giving your prospects the motivation to want to take that next logical step for themselves. And that next logical step is getting the advanced training and the guidance that your one product delivers. In this lesson, I'll show you a simple but effective outline for your follow-ups that's suitable for any product that costs roughly $50 to $100. And it doesn't require signing up for webinars or workshops or sales calls or any advanced funnels and things like that. Once again, though, I do want to point out that it's almost impossible for me to give you every single piece of information required to go and create these follow-ups, unless I spend hours discussing the minutiae of every little detail. This is meant to be an overview to help point you in the right direction, and you should definitely take some actions and then reach out to my Facebook group, the 10X Mastermind, if you have any specific questions or need further guidance. The follow-up outline I'll be giving you in this video will be for 10 days of follow-up content for your prospects, and 10 days to 2 weeks should be more than enough time for a product in this price range. But as you're soon going to see, you could easily take this outline and extend it to 21 days or even longer than 30 days. And this is often a really good idea if you're moving your prospects into a different sales funnel that maybe has a higher ticket item for sale and might involve those things I mentioned before, like webinar invites or sales calls and things like that. Now, day one is already sorted. Your welcome email is the only content that your prospect should receive from you on day number one. And as I discussed in the previous lesson, your welcome email should create an open loop towards the end of that welcome email that creates both an expectation that your prospects are actually going to get a second email from you, as well as actually giving them some desire to want to read that email when they receive it. So because of that, the content for day two is straightforward. The email on day number 2 should follow the same AIDA framework as your welcome email, but the goal in this case should be to get your prospects to click on a link that takes them away from their inbox and over to a page that you control. Now, this page is basically another type of bridge page. Don't hyper-focus on what this page should look like. Just keep it relatively simple and similar to the original bridge page that you learned about back in the funnel outline module. Use a headline, a video, and a call to action. That's really all you would need for this page. The purpose of this actual content, though, is to agitate your prospects' pain points. We actually want our prospects to feel uncomfortable about their current situation, and we want them to see future problems that can occur if these problems are left unchecked. So again, the focus is on your prospects, not on the product that you're trying to sell. Let's consider this example. In the fictional welcome email that I shared with you in the previous lesson where I talked about the welcome email, I created an open loop in the postscript of that message that was telling the prospects on the following day, day number 2, I'd be revealing the biggest mistake that affiliates make when they try to apply my strategy for themselves. So my email on day number 2 is going to use the same AIDA framework to share a few of the pitfalls that come with making this mistake. I would highlight maybe some of the bigger problems that can occur from leaving this mistake unchecked, and to see how to solve the problem before it even occurs, the prospects would have to click a link which takes them over to my page that I control, which would have a short video which explains the problem, how to solve the problem, and how to take the next steps in their journey. And remember, those next steps are to go and purchase that one product I recommend. Now, throughout this volume of RIMS, I've shared a few dummy pages and emails and videos as examples of how to apply these lessons to a product that you've already purchased, RIMS volume number 2. So continuing with that theme, there's actually a link to a dummy page below that will show you how this page would look and the type of video that would work well here. On day number 3, I'd actually send no emails, but I would resend the same email from day number 2 to any prospects that didn't open up that email that I sent on day number 2. Now I call these resending days. On day number 4, I'd send another email as a reminder to go and download the bonus item that I sent them in my welcome email if they haven't done it already. Now, there's no need for any fancy frameworks here. Literally, all you need to do is send a short, simple reminder to go and download the checklist or cheat sheet or whatever your bonus item was, and tell them again why it's valuable and why they might need it. The goal here is to get the prospect to take the action of actually downloading something from you. It's a small commitment, but in the value of the long-term relationship with your prospect, it's an important commitment that you really do want them to take. Additionally, I'd even include a link to a page that might have a video which shows them how to use that bonus item effectively. And of course, anytime we're sending our prospects over to a video, we want to include a call to action that says, hey, don't forget to pick up your copy of your one product. So as you might be able to tell already, you're not really swinging haymakers at your prospects. We're not throwing huge big sales messages at them here. Instead, we're using small jabs to remind and refresh our prospects about that one product. This makes your message really consistent, and therefore it's more likely that your prospects, as they build up a trust towards you, it's going to make it more likely that they're going to purchase. I'd skip day number 5 entirely. I would use that as a resending day for the email on day number 4. And then when it comes to day number 6, I would actually switch gears a little bit and I would make this an extremely positive day. And what I want to do here in day 6 is reinforce all the decisions and all the actions that I know my prospect has already taken. So I would want to gush over them downloading my checklist or my cheat sheet or whatever my bonus item might be. And I want to let them know that they've taken the first steps on a really important journey that's ultimately going to bring them to those results that I know that they want to achieve. So day number 6 is kind of like a day where you're massaging your prospect's ego, right? You're making them think about themselves, about their situation, how good they're going to feel once they hit that goal. And of course, your product is going to be an important step in helping them achieve that goal. So in this email, I would use that same AIDA framework for this email, and I'd make the call to action at the end of the email. I'd actually want to bring them over to a page that I control where I have a video where I walk them through the product. So I would do a full screen share here. I would walk them through the inside of the product, and I'd basically treat this video from my perspective as kind of a product review. And of course, on this page, I'd want to have a few different calls to action, which are my affiliate link, so they can go and grab the product for themselves. On day number 7 and day number 8, I actually wouldn't send any new content at all, and I'd use both of these days as resending days for that really important email that we sent on day number 6. Now that review style email or that product review that we talked about just a moment ago, that generally brings in quite a few sales. So you really do want as many prospects as possible to see that email for maximum effect. That's why day 7 and day 8, we want to use them as resending days. Now, when it comes to day 9, I'd actually create an FAQ email or frequently asked questions email that deals with maybe the 3 to 5 most common objections that would stand in the way from someone making this purchase. Now, you should have a pretty good idea of what these objections could be from studying the sales page and taking a look at your product and understanding your product. And some of these examples of objections are usually things like proof of results, like maybe social proof, skepticism of the concept, maybe they don't think the unique thing about this product is going to work all that well. Could be the security of the purchase, it could be the price, it could be the feeling of maybe a risk of getting scammed or something like that. These are all objections that we can deal with in that frequently asked questions email. We can also link over to a video where maybe, again, you have a video where you sit in front of the camera and actually talk about some of these objections as questions that will encourage your prospects to go and buy the product. Now on day number 10, I'd send out a final sales email. And this would basically be very similar to the content in day number 6 where we have that review. And I would link over to a very similar or maybe even the same video where I walk through the product. The big difference here is that I would incentivize that purchase with a few awesome bonuses that are unique to me when they go and get that purchase. So they can only get these bonuses from me if they buy it through the link on the page that I send them over to. And I'd also include a link to a page where I have a video that kind of walks through these bonuses, shows them what they are, how useful they would be in their journey, and so forth. And then finally, on day number 11, I would do another quick resend of that content from day number 10. Now you could get really creative here and make this a 14-day follow-up series by dropping some urgency into this sequence and reminding them a few times that your bonuses are going to be removed on a certain date and time if you really wanted to increase those sales even more. Just remember to actually follow through on that promise and remove those bonuses when you say you're going to. This is a little tip that can add a few sales to your sequence, but it can also erode a lot of trust if you don't follow through on your word. The more time and attention that you spend on motivating your prospects, well, guess what? The more likely it is that the sale is going to occur in the second half of the sequence. Now, in our next lesson, we're going to discuss what to do with these prospects after these 10 days or maybe 14 days, and how you can turn this sequence into a great introduction to your email list and how you can use it for months and even years to come. I'll see you in there.